Dr. Kim Schrader. I'm one of the state specialists in the state 4-H office. So welcome to the Kentucky Volunteer Forum. Thank you for your time. If others haven't told you this since you've been here, we really value you. You have taken off time from work and personal responsibilities, and there's all kinds of things happening at home, and so we appreciate you taking the time to be here. You're a very valuable person. So since you've been here, this is it's the last session in the club management track, and you have heard all about things such as ages and stages of being who you've worked with. You've heard things about the different club ideas and how to run club meetings. You've had all of those things. But how many of you all are starting a club? What kind are you starting? Cooking. Very, very good. So, based upon your interest or whatever might be happening in your county, there's a lot to go with club management and how to think about that and how to plan those things. And it's not all on your shoulders by yourself, okay? So we're going to talk all about that and having planning and managing your clubs and managing your meetings and me giving you resources to help you do that. If I go too fast, please let me know and say, hey, Kim, I don't get it. Stop for a minute and let's go through there and let's go through it and come back, okay? If you all don't mind, can we finish that in just a little bit later, just because they're having a hard time hearing over here, if you don't mind. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about delivery methods. Did you know that in 4-H we have delivery methods? You did. Yeah, good job. So we have a few different kinds of things in delivery methods. One of them, we call those delivery modes. And you'll hear how we put education out to our youth. Just a little history lesson here in Kentucky 4-H. What we generally do, and it's back to the old history, 4-H was started as corn clubs. Why? Because we were trying to get the research from the university to the needs of the people. How we're going to do that? We're going to go through our kids to take that information back home. Okay? So that was the delivery mode that we used. Then we used clubs or in-school clubs. Okay? That's kind of how that kind of happened. And now we've evolved into what we have today. So there's different kinds of clubs that we have. There's community clubs. Okay? There's all sorts of little communities within your counties that you live in. Somebody name one that's in your community.
Private club? Is it?
Well, I meant community clubs.
Community club.
Community. What county you live in?
Davis.
Davis County. What's a little community in Davis County?
Or you mean like area?
Yeah, okay. So I live in Frankfort,
Yeah.
okay, in Franklin County, and one of the little areas that are in
Bald Knob.
Bald Knob. There you go. Are you from Frankfort?
I lived there for 18 years.
So Bald Knob is a community in
We don't
Frankfort.
really have ones like that. We
Okay.
have project clubs.
Yeah.
We have.
But I'm just saying that could be one.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a Bald Knob 4-H.
Yeah.
So that's a community club, okay? There could be project clubs like Rabbits,
Right.
okay? That's around one area. There can also be school clubs, all right? Now those are what you think about when I was talking about that history of 4-H. Like we used to have in-school clubs, okay? And now we also have these things that we call after-school clubs. One would be happening during school time when schools is in session, and one will be after school session. We also have short term. I think if you're thinking about if you see your 4-H newsletter, there might be something that you have a day camp or something of that nature. That would be short term, delivery modes. And then here's another fun one, camp. Who loves camp? Camp, woo, camp. I started going as legal camper. I kept going all the times I was a teen. I was staff at Feltner 4-H camp. I went as an agent, then I became a specialist, and then I never had to go again. Yeah! Because once you go to an agent, the responsibility factor, you can't enjoy yourself. I mean, there's just so much in it. And it just is intense. So then, now that's just my personal speaking. I still love camp. I still love everything about it. I love visiting camp. We also have school enrichment. School enrichment would be when program assistants or agents go into school, and for example, they might be in social studies class, and that would be a time that you might talk about elections, leadership, when it would be going on an election year, something like that. That would be enrichment, enriching the idea that's already going on. And then we have after school, so that would be anything that happens after that school time frame. That's what we usually know. And then we also have individual study. So one of the examples that I gave last time was individual study would be, what is your name, ma'am?
My name's Dreyer.
Dreyer.
Uh-huh.
Dreyer is 9 years old, and she comes to me as her agent, and she says, Miss Kim, I want to know everything about widgets. Okay, Dreyer. Widgets. Well, guess what? I have curriculum, and you're the only kid in Smith County that wants to know anything about widgets. But I want to provide education for you. So here is the curriculum, and you can do an independent study on all about widgets. Okay? And we will help you, guide you along. And then, you can develop and find some friends that want to learn about widgets. That would be widgets are your spark. Dr. Gaduli talked about that this morning. What's your spark? Your spark is widgets. That kind of thing, okay? So, those are various delivery modes. So why is having it in a club important? Why is that club mode important? It's because, that's right. This is kind of old data, but it's good stuff. If you're in a club, you are 4 times more likely to give back to your community. How many of you were in 4-H as a kid? Most of you, right? And because it was important to you as a kid, right? Is that one of the reasons why you're here today? Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if one of us says, because our mama made us come?
That is, yeah. And then, but yes, you proved that right. You're 4 times more likely to give back in the future. You're 2 times higher likely, if you're in 4-H, to make healthier choices. Healthier choices for yourself. Not just when I think healthy, I think of I'm drinking water, I'm eating my 5 to 9 fruits and vegetables, but there's also making better decisions financially, and you're just making an overall healthier, happier, well-being person. And then they're more than likely, 2 times more likely to participate in science, engineering, technology, and mathematical programming, because we have so many programs with that. So that's so important that we do that. That is all because of hands-on learning in 4-H programming. And this is from a Tufts University study. There was a longitudinal study. Yes, I'm a research nerd. But it followed youth over 10 years of time span, the same youth, to have that measurement. So I think that's really cool, and we're getting ready to repeat some of this study. And I'm on the research team that we're doing some of this coming back into Kentucky. The other part of this is, why is a club important? Have you all seen this?
On the tables this morning.
On the tables is important. But this is important because you make it important. Okay. We talked about this a little bit. When a kid has a spark or an interest, okay, they come to a club meeting where other kids have that same spark. They want to come to 4-H cooking because they want to learn about cooking. Cooking is their interest, okay? They all have that same interest of cooking. That's their spark. Therefore, when they're all there, they all have the same interests, they all belong. I don't know how many times that I've heard that until I found 4-H, I didn't find a place that I belonged. I didn't find a place. I didn't find a home. I didn't find my people. And they all feel like they belong in the same spot. They build those relationships with one another, but the other part of that is they build relationships with a positive adult role model. Research shows that a caring individual about a child makes them thrive, makes them succeed. Children cannot have enough positive role models in their life. They can't. And someone in the community that says, I care about you, and I care about your well-being, and I care about where you're going in life is important. It's very important to them. I know I'm old. I have my kids that were 4-Hers to me when I was a county agent. Now they're agents, and they have children, and they have done this, and they have done that, and I am so proud of them. I've had kids that were state teen council members or state officers or were on the achievement program, and now they're working in Washington, D.C., and I see them on Instagram or whatever, and I'm seeing what they're doing, and I'm going, oh, I'm so proud. You know, that is you taking a vested interest in your 4-H club members. And you give them a thumbs up. That means something. It's by somebody that's not their mom, their dad, their granny, grandpa, aunt, uncle, somebody else. It's also meaning, have you seen that kid that's in your club that is, I don't want to be here, my mom made me come, why do I have to do this? And you know what's going to happen? You're going to go, you know, what's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah. I know you're having a bad day. And I know you don't want to be here, Sarah. But I know that this is not the Sarah that I know you can be. What do we need to do? Do you need to just like take a breather or whatever? You can do better, Sarah. So let's do that together. Sometimes acting out is just because they need somebody to say, I see you. I see what you're doing. Sometimes you just need a little extra attention. Sometimes it's because you had a really bad day. I don't know about you, but when I come home and I've had a really bad day, I still act that like that. I'm like, I'm not cooking dinner. Get your own self something. It's razzmatazz night. Razzmatazz, anything you can find in the refrigerator. And then, what's wrong with you, Mom? You know, do you need a hug? Mama needs a hug. Mama needs a hug. It's the same. And when you recognize those and you build those relationships, guess what? Engagement happens. They're engaged. They're learning. They're happy. They belong. They put them there. And then, guess what happens? Youth are going to thrive. You're going to get that growth that's coming out. They're going to end up having a growth mindset that they can do more. They're going to end up having a challenge. I'm going to do great things. I'm going to make the best biscuits you've ever seen. I'm going to I'm going to have a purpose. I'm going to give back to my community. I'm going to have a goal setting. Setting goals is something very important that youth, since COVID, we're seeing they don't do that as much anymore.
I'm taking these biscuits to the fair and I'm gonna win a blue ribbon.
Exactly. You're setting those goals. Pro-social orientation. Since COVID, how many youth really have a pro-social orientation? How many they want to be together? I mean, I know in my own house, I have 3 teenagers. I force them to be social. They don't like it, but they do it, and they do it with a smile, and then they come home, and they go to their rooms, and they shut the door, and then they say, I need some recoup time. I've been too social for too long. That's okay. You have to do it. You can't stay in and you can't hide from the world. You got to get out and be in it. Once you get all of those happening, guess what? You get some outcomes. Kids they will really work hard to have positive academic outcomes. They want to do better. They want to do better for themselves in school to reach those goals. They want to have a social competence. That means they know how to act in social situations. They take responsibility for themselves. That's a big one. Taking responsibility for yourselves. Setting those personal standards that they can do better. Not settling for the least. And actually making a contribution. And when you get all of those things, hopefully the projection is that, in which we do not know yet because we're still studying this, our long-term outcomes are we're going to have a happier person. They're going to have a more individual well-being. They're going to have economic standards, and they're going to have employable characteristics. That's important. Very important. For example, we teach communications. That is one of our bread and butters in 4-H. Public speaking. I will tell, as an example, Shannon Farrell was my daughter's 4-H agent. Shannon had my daughter doing public speaking at around age 5 and 6 years old. Today, my kid is in high school. She can give a speech or make a presentation off the cuff professionally. People ask her, where did she get that? She said, I was in 4-H. Yes, ma'am.
My daughter, the deal we have is I choose 2 subjects or 2 projects that you do for fair, and then anything else you do is on you. So one of them has always been communications. She's 17 years old now. She's been doing the public speaking, either a demonstration or whatever, since she was 9. And she'll look at you, she goes to state now.
That's
and
right.
she can give her speech. She goes to the teen conference, the professor asks her to come up, Dr. Dooley asked her to help with her presentation.
Yeah.
Because of 4-H. And she will stand there and tell you, because Mama made me do it.
And that's okay.
It is.
But that's an employability skill.
It is.
Public speaking is so important that they can do. And we focus that in every area of 4-H. We do workforce preparation, we do communication, we do leadership. So those are all in there. And then civic engagement. What I mean by that is giving back. Giving back through various things. I'm also going to say on Shannon, I'm giving Shannon all the credit for my kid. Because it was her and it was another specialist that made my kid who she is today. Because there was a 4-H cooking club, and in that cooking club, I never thought about service, even as a specialist. at that time, I was like, a service project and cooking, what in the world am I thinking about? Yeah, they did service projects. They did service projects at Christmas time every time. They worked on those state fair projects, and then they gave them out to all the police departments, the fire departments, and all those kinds of things. It was the best thing ever. And now in my family, every Christmas it's like, okay, who are we gonna bake for? That's part of it. That's part of our family tradition now, and that was instilled at a very young age. So that is why a club is very important for a thriving individual. So, and it starts with you in the dirt down here that comes through here. So, and you've been here and you've given up, so here. So thank you. I thank you and I appreciate that very, very much. So, what is a club in Kentucky? What does all of that mean? We've talked about delivery modes, we've talked about this, we've talked about that. So what all does these things mean? So in Kentucky, we have this program quality guide, and this is what's defined as a club in our state. You have to have 5 members. It can't be just me and, Susie Smith, and that's it. We gotta have 5 people, okay? Age, they have to be, yes, we do have clover buds, and that starts at 9, but our 4-H age is 9, and that's of January 1. I know that's really confusing. We have calendar years, we have program years, we have this years, we have all of those things. So, for example, my birthday is August the 15th, okay? On January 1 of 2024, I was 46. I'm going to be 47 this year. I get to count all of 2024 as I'm 46. So girls, that's girl math. That is a new terminology I've learned. That's girl math. I'm going to be, you get to count that whole year, all right? That also has an effect. For example, some kids get to start some things a little earlier, but that keeps a consistency, what that is, okay? You have to have 3 elected officers. What do you think those are?
President.
That's right. President, Vice President, and Secretary. That's right.
Secretary.
Uh-huh. Why is it important to have officers?
Because somebody needs to be in charge.
And they have to learn how to have leadership, right?
They have to learn how to teach the children how to be in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Parliamentary procedure.
Parliament, and you're going to start those things somewhere. Whether if he's in school or after school or club meetings or after school, those are the things that makes it and you're teaching that leadership component that we want to have in there. We need to have 5 meetings. 5 meetings per year. That's a lot. Seems like. It's a lot of your time, isn't it?
5 meetings a year?
A year.
Minimum.
Minimum. You can have more.
I thought it was 6.
Hang on, we're getting a 6. You have to have, it is recommended that you have 6 hours of instruction.
But if you pass, it's 5. If you can't have that 6.
5 meetings per year, 6 hours.
You're saying an hour.
So if each meeting is an hour, that's still 5 hours.
Right.
If you had a minimum, maybe your meetings lasted an hour and a half. So, that's where that comes from, okay? So that's the 6 hours.
What are you considering educational?
In a club meeting that is having instruction, me or someone instructing exactly during that time frame.
So like, we had a 2-hour meeting the other day, and we worked on, I instructed them on a 4-H project that they did as individuals, but they worked on it in our club meeting.
That's during that time, yeah.
So that would count as 2
Mhm.
hours. Okay.
Does the adult have to have 6 or more hours?
Nope.
or-
It's just the kids. Now this is recommended. This is not a have to. Okay, these are recommended.
But aren't some mandatory, like you have, like livestock? probably
Livestock is
requires
different. This is
6.
that's different.
Okay, I'm just double checking
Yeah,
myself.
that's different. That's different. We're not going there. Yeah.
Okay, alright,
And these are only recommended.
But
Okay.
let's be real, as a coach or a leader, you gonna have
Oh,
more than
yeah.
6 hours in anyway.
Exactly.
Just
Here's the
as
thing,
we-
even if you're
right.
doing cooking club, here's the thing. Think about that. You're coming in, you know, you're having, even if you as the coach or the kid or whatever, and you're setting up, and then you make the kids clean up or whatever, it doesn't matter if it's cooking or whatever, you're doing 2 hours in cooking every time.
Mhm.
Because you're gonna make, I would say, do not wash those children's dishes, they gotta learn how to wash them. Now that's just me, cause that's responsibility. If I had to go back through and hand wash them again, I would after the fact, but at least I want them to at least try it and go through it. Because I'm sure, you probably had to go through back from 9-year-olds cooking club in Clark County to go back through it. I don't know what you have to do in Harrison County or not, but there might be the same thing. That you had leadership that was provided by an adult, which is you, that had been through the volunteer or the client protection process. Do y'all know what that is? Okay, cool. And then we also have charter clubs. That is a club, that's an authorized club by the 4-H agent, the home clubs. Okay? So, now, you gotta think about the who, what, when, where, why, how, all those things, when you're trying to think about those things. So, the first question I would say is, you know, who can help me with these meetings and activities? That'd be the first thing I'd wanna know is who in the world's gonna help me? Is it just me out on this boat by myself? I hope not. You're not alone. You have an agent. You have an entire extension office staff. You have a state office staff. You have resources at your hand via the internet. You can walk into probably every extension office that you want to have and find any publication that you want. Those are all also online. If you can't, you always can email us or email your agent or call your state specialist. We'll mail it to you. We'll send whatever you need. I know I get messages from Facebook. I'm old, I only do that, and I don't really do that really well. I don't care. But if you call my telephone number, my office number, I always answer. Or if you text me, I always answer. And if you call my office number, it comes into my cell phone. I will answer. Now, I probably wouldn't answer now, but it would show up on my watch and then I'd call you right back. But I always answer you back. The reason why I do that is if you're calling me, you've got a reason and somebody's standing right there in front of you. If I don't know what it is, I will get back with you ASAP and I will help you try to get it worked out. And I will work through with you. Okay? Now, you got to figure out what do you need. Okay, you need help, but help do what? You know, I can't, now that I'm old, I have to, you know, it's not the mind reading game anymore. I think that's lots of teenagers. I'm trying to dialogue with them. I need help. Help you do what? Speak to me. I can't read your mind. If you've done ages and stages, you already know about this teenager things. Can you involve people that are not certified volunteers?
Well, I would think you could, because they say ask the parents.
How can you get your parents involved?
Ask
Exactly. If you think about it, what club do you lead, sir?
I am the coach for Henderson County Shooting Sports.
Okay.
Yes, I've been.
Okay, so when you're there, and you have shooting sports, how many 9-year-old parents show up
I
and
make
stand
it,
around?
I make it a requirement. I had to tell my parents because we had a problem. I took, for the first year or so that I was coaching it, we had a problem with parents showing up and dropping their kids off like it was daycare.
Yes.
And I had to explain to them that, you know, I am one person, these kids are out here with loaded firearms, and I cannot be responsible for 14 kids with loaded firearms jacking around.
Yeah, and you were at a different beast versus a cooking club.
Right,
But, in my experience, and something, and my child has not been in shooting sports, but yes, if you had the parents that come, you have cooking club parents that come, lots of times, especially when they're younger,
Well,
they
we've
stand
got,
around.
We've got younger ones, and our middle daughter is in Clover Buds.
Yeah, and those parents, they don't leave.
Right.
They stand around and they don't leave. Well, you know what? Put them to work.
It must just be our county then, cause the parents just all leave.
Well, I have homeschool club that I lead, and then I started a fishing club last year.
Yeah.
Fishing club, I made it a requirement, parents or grandparents, whoever brought them had to stay, otherwise the kid had to wear a life jacket to be down by the lake. Everybody stays, parents and grandparents will come as a group, but homeschool club, years ago, had a problem with parents wanting to drop them off and move like it was a daycare, and I'm like, I'm one person,
Right.
and thankfully my agent's great, when she's able to be there, she's there.
Yeah.
But I can't get people to help. People will sit there and you'll ask for a hand.
Oh, yeah.
No,
They
you
don't
have
wanna
to-
help.
So,
You have to learn to delegate.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
assign.
You-
yeah, and we're gonna talk about that.
What we started doing with
Oh,
parents
yeah,
is we
ask them
started
that way.
assigning
They
and
don't come
delegating.
back.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that, and you're gonna need to know when your club's gonna meet, where they're gonna meet, how long they're gonna meet, what things you're gonna cover during that time. There's a lot of organization that you have to do. But let's talk about involving others. If you want help, you have to ask. You have to ask. You have to say, the other part of that is something that I did learn, and the more I got involved in it in research, and I love this topic, and I got really involved in it, and I started thinking about that, and I started talking about with our volunteer specialist, Ken Colt, but it was an interest checklist. You know, you enroll your 4-H kids, what are your parents interested in too? Are they? That's, yeah, we hope, you know. Make sure that there is volunteer position descriptions. What are you asking them to do? All of those things. So, but when you recruit somebody, make sure you walk in their shoes. All right, think about yourself. All right, let's take 4-H off the tables. What else do you have to do in life? Seriously, what else do you have to do in life?
Well, full-time job.
A full-time job.
I'm also, I have 5 children and all
Kids.
of their commitments that I'm present or transport, have a house to maintain,
House.
all the things.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
and the animals, the farm to also take care of.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you also have homework, you have laundry, there's a lot of grocery shopping, dinner, and then it's nonstop. I mean, even if you didn't have those things, you still have a lot. So let's put yourself in somebody else's shoes. You're willing to volunteer, you're willing to step up and you're gonna be that, but you need help. Okay, so let's do a checklist. When you ask me to do something, I wanna know exactly what you're asking me to do, how much time it's gonna take me. I wanna know exactly, you know, when, where, what, and I wanna know all the details. For me, I have a mother-in-law that's very sick. She yells 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night. I may have to drive, I may not sleep but 2 hours. I have the teenagers, I have a job, I have a house, I have all these things too. So, for example, if you want me to provide snacks, great. No problem. Do you need me to serve? How long do you need me to serve? I will put that in my calendar. You're gold. You can always count on me. You gotta tell me who, what, when, where, define that for me. I will sign up every time. If you need me to do a club meeting, define that for me. If you need me to be there to clean up, if you need me to set up, and then you don't want me anymore until this time, okay, tell me that. If you need me from 2 to 2:30, great. I'll be there on the spot. After 2:30, I'm out. Think about that, because your volunteers are gonna want that too. That's research for every organization right now. Doesn't really matter what organization it is. Church, youth, all kinds of things. That's exactly what it is. Because volunteers aren't what they used to be anymore. Our volunteer population now, or what it used to be is, you started in an organization, you gave everything you had to that one organization, and that's just where you died at. And it's not like that anymore. We all give to 1,000 different things. And because we are all so spread out and we are all so busy with things, we all want to be defined. Because we can give to a lot of different things. We have priorities in different areas. Yes, ma'am.
So this may help some of y'all. I do a Clover Buds Club. I actually work at the extension office, but I'm the one that does the Clover Buds Club. I made a point to do the entire schedule. Every meeting that we would have, I made a schedule for every snack that we would have, and the parents actually rotate. So I have one parent that helps at every meeting that we have, and we have a full schedule, so those parents know they only have to stay for that one meeting. And it makes a really big difference. If you only need a couple of people, if you talk to the parents and tell them, hey, I don't need you to volunteer for every single one of these classes. I don't want you to commit to that. If you can commit to just this one, and maybe the next person can commit to the next one, it really made a big difference. And I don't have any issues with my Clover Buds. And I've got 20-some kids in there, but I always have a parent or two to help.
The other thing that's a new technology that's really, really good to help as well, is it's something that the schools use, extension offices use, a variety. It's called Sign Up Genius.
Or Remind.
It's free,
And they're awesome.
and it's free to anybody. You send a link, you send it to the parents or whatever it is, and they sign up. They sign up for that 30-minute time slot. They sign up for this. Agents use it a lot of times for like speeches and communications day if you need judges for different events. It's a great tool to just like sign up for various different things. I love it. If you have a technology-based thing, it's a great, or families, it's great. If you don't, and you can always keep that list at the office and they can call in and that kind of thing. So there's a variety of ways you can do it. But again, make sure that you think about those things and make sure you tell them what's expected. Have that volunteer position description. Make sure you tell them all the definite things for that. Utilize your extension agent. At the beginning of the year, when you're thinking about the who, what, when, where, and how, meet with your extension office in the summertime. Give enough planning to it. Allow for their schedule, because they're busy in the summertime. They've got camp, they've got team conference, they've got county fair, they've got state fair, they've got environmental camps, Cloverbud camp. Every week is something several days long for out of the office. So there's a lot of it. So give them plenty of time. So we also have some resources that you can also get at the extension office that helps you with a lot of different things. And that you can get from your agents. Some of these things, like for example, when you're starting a new club, I have club officer training materials. How to train them as a president. It's really good to even start them as a Clover Bud. They need to learn what those things are. even if they start and they go, I called a meeting to order. It's super cute. It's starting that. They need to learn how to do the 4-H pledge. How many do you need to walk?
No, I just need to stretch. I threw out my back, so.
Oh, no, if you
Yeah.
needed to walk or whatever, it's not distracting. I mean, no, it's,
I'm sorry.
no, you're not distracting is what I'm
Okay.
saying. Just walk, do whatever you need to do. Those types of things. They need to know the pledge, the 4-H pledge. That's a great place to start. There's many times that kids don't know what those are. And when you're thinking about the clover buds, I did pull this off.
Where's your information on there?
You have to go through your agent, and it'll be on. They have it on their resources page. They have those. Yeah. This is a publication that's out now, and you can get it just by saying Exploring 4-H. But it is for young 4-Hers. But it says, and it's kind of an interest to find what their spark is. But it goes in there. It's kind of like a notebook. What is the 4-H pledge? Where do you get from that? And it has every core area from citizenship, natural resources, agriculture, and they're all activities that they can do and go home and figure these activities out, finding a little bit more back to back and going home with those. And then they can take it back to their extension office and have those there. But that's Exploring 4-H. And then the club resources are kind of a really cool tool that's here as well. Pull those off. But for example, I have things on here. We'll do one quick activity. It's club officer training where you're practicing parliamentary procedure. So how many people in here, is anybody ever, or are you a president of a club or county council, anything like that? All right, who wants to be my guinea pig?
I'm a vice president.
Do you want to be my guinea pig?
Sure.
All right, come on. We're going to play this cool kind of little activity.
M&Ms.
Huh? That's right. So you're going to come up here, and we're going to practice parliamentary procedure. Or we'll make trail mix. I love this activity. It's so fun. Yes. So, Madam President, for today, you got to call this meeting to order.
I call this meeting to order of the 4-H Cooking Club, Bourbon County.
Perfect. Today we have a variety of items up here in which you can make trail mixes out of
Cereal,
what else we got?
pretzels, raisins, coconut, marshmallows, M&Ms, and Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its. So, anyway, Madam President, you need to take motions from the floor to add to the trail mix, please.
I make a motion that we add toasted oats.
Toasted oats.
I'll second the motion.
Ooh. So you want it, and somebody seconded it?
I
Madam
second the
Secretary, did you write that down?
motion. Oh, sorry, I didn't do that.
Now you gotta take a vote.
Now, all in favor of starting with toasted oats? I know there's a proper quorum,
We've got a quorum.
By show of hands.
By show of hands.
okay? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. We will start with the toasted oats.
You pour it into the bowl, ma'am?
Can I pour the whole thing in there?
Yes. Or however how much you want. Okay, that's good.
Am I asking who else wants to do
Yeah,
what?
yeah, you gotta take another, is there, motions from the floor?
There's a motion from the floor to see what else we're gonna add.
Oh, I'll move that we add the M&Ms.
M&Ms.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was a big yeah.
Now, you probably wanna eat some of them.
No,
You just
no.
wanna put a few in there?
No, I want you to put the whole bag.
I need a motion from the floor to see what else we would like to add to our trail mix.
I motion that we add, raisins.
Raisins. Do I have a second on the raisins?
I second the motion to add raisins to the trail mix.
You got to say, now here's another one. Did you realize that you're supposed to have discussion at this point?
When do you know you're supposed to have discussion?
If needed.
If
Yeah,
needed.
if needed, and there's not.
Is there any discussion needed on this trail mix up to now?
Let's get it done.
Everybody in favor? Trail mix is going in.
Yeah.
Motion?
Add cheeses.
Oh,
What'd she say?
she would like to add Cheez-Its.
Second.
I second it.
Second, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any conversation up to this point?
Is it gonna get weird if we put cheesy in with chocolatey?
No.
Okay.
Madam President asks, are you crazy?
Throw 'em in there.
All in favor? Before she pours
Aye.
them?
No, I'm just your assistant.
I'm ready for the vice president to do something. There's too many of them to put all of them in there.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll make that motion in a second.
Okay. All right, is there, since the bowl is full,
Yeah.
I'm gonna act in an advisory role as your extension advisor and say that the bowl is full and due to time limitations, I need to, would you all, take a motion from the floor that our trail mix is complete?
Yes, because the
So moved.
president cannot do it, and neither can the vice president.
Second the motion.
Yeah, so moved.
Second motion, all in favor for saying
Aye.
this is
Aye.
enough?
All right. We do have storage bags. Very good. We call the meeting adjourned.
Any questions up to this point? Any discussions? I'm calling, I need a motion to
So moved.
adjourn the meeting.
Second it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned, this meeting
All right.
adjourned.
So I do have storage bags here for you to take home your trail mix that you've made.
All right.
So there are lots of different things from where you're doing, if you want a community club, if you're a special interest club, what you might have. That's just one activity. So there are plenty of different things that we do have. Okay? The last thing I want to talk about real quickly before, since we're really coming to a close, is risk management. The question you always have to ask yourself is, if your club meeting is meeting in a different location or across the county line. If you're doing those two things, either one of those, you need to discuss it with your agent immediately. Not 2 or 3 days before, not any time. It would preferably be at least 6 to 8 months in advance. The reason being is that there are very many things that the agent and you must discuss, and a lot of things that have to be evaluated and done. Okay? So, with that's in mind, there has to, approval of activities has to be done, and that has to go through administration. You also need to look at how much proper supervision there is. Do you have the correct ratio between youth and adults based upon their age? There is a thing that you'll talk about with your agent called excess insurance. Okay? We're not going to go into a lot of details about that today because that's a whole nother game plan. There is a risk management plan and an emergency action plan that needs to be discussed. Why is that important? Think about it. If you took your club to the state fair, I'm over the state fair, so I'm going to use that one. Someone goes and you have a group that goes over to see the cattle. somebody walks behind a cow too close, they get kicked, they get a leg broken. Okay? There needs to be an emergency action plan that needs to be considered. Where are you going to meet in case of an emergency? Where's the hospital? Where are you going to transport? All of those things. There's a lot of things that you have to consider about that. What are the required forms and incident reporting that needs to be discussed? What are the forms that you need to take with you? Who are the emergency contacts for everyone, including adults?
Especially adults.
We don't think about adults in that way. We're only usually thinking about kids. But what if, well, for me, what if something happens and, forbid, I got an allergic reaction and I had kids with me and I didn't know what happened and you all didn't know numbers to call or what to do because you can't get into anybody's phone anymore. There's a security code on it. You really need to know those things. Transportation. How are the children going to be transported? That's another major issue that you have to think about. Their arrival. Where are they going to be? Is the parents going to take them there? Are they going to leave? Who's going to pick them up? Who's allowed to pick them up? Who's not allowed to pick them up? There's a whole gamut that has to go with all those things. You have to talk about all of these things with your agent. That's very important. Okay? So when you're thinking about those things, the questions you have to ask yourself, is it not in the normal meeting place or is it across the county line? That's when you know you gotta ask.